Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian with another channel update. It's been a while since we've talked, and I wanted to give you guys an idea of what's happening with the channel in the weeks to come. Beginning around September-ish is when we'll start seeing kind of the next phase of the channel, where we're going to drop from 4 or 5 games a week to just 3, and then finally to 2. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a little bit. I'm really excited about the change, and I hope you guys will be too once I explain what that change actually is. But I wanted to list some of the games that will be coming to the channel by the end of 2020. So you have something to look forward to, because let's face it, this year's been kind of shitty so far, and maybe me covering certain games will bring some small spark of joy into your lives. So I certainly hope that's the case. Some of these games have been on here for a while. The first 3 in particular, so I'm not going to talk about those right now. I recently picked up the 2 expansions of Civilization 6, and I realized I've only ever played it once on the channel. And I really like Civ 6. It might be my favorite Civilization game since Civ 2. Maybe. It's awfully close, because I was also one of the rare people that thought Civilization 3 was brilliant, although I know a lot of people didn't like it as much as I did. But that's a topic for another time. But I want to play it again, and it's definitely on my radar. Now, the other game I didn't expect, I was going through my Steam catalog today. I have an embarrassing number of games, about 500 by now. And Startup Company was a game that I recorded 2 videos on a very long time ago. And I never put them on the channel because I stopped playing the game. There's something wrong with Startup Company. I actually quite enjoy it. But it was just too many other games are happening at the same time, and I kind of lost track of it. But I learned that in April of this year, Startup Company actually went full release. And they've added a ton of really cool new features that I think is going to give the game the legs it didn't have when I first started playing it. So, for those of you who haven't heard of it, Startup Company is an indie game about starting up a website. And competing with the big boys. Which could be very cool, and I'm really liking the idea of bringing it to the channel. I do thoroughly enjoy tycoon-style games, and this is one of those, so it's on the menu at some point in the future. Finally, guys, we've got to finish this war of mine. I have to get a win, or at least try again. I was watching Rado Runs Through, one of my favorite board game channels, and he's talking about This War of Mine, the board game. And as cool as that game looks, it just made me want to play the computer game again. So that's also going to be a game that we're going to be playing in 2020. All 3 of these games will be on the channel. If any of you have a preference, you can pop into the comments and say, hey, Avi, I'd like to see this game first. I really missed This War of Mine. Or Startup Company sounds super cool. Let's take a look at that. Or Civilization 6 is amazing. Let's see that first. And I will take your opinions under advisement. Right. That's all in the future. What is happening in the short term? We're going to be finishing up with XCOM Chimera Squad in a few weeks, and then Slay the Spire a few weeks after that. As I said before, but just to remind you guys, once XCOM drops from the channel, because I finished it, we'll have Slay the Spire get double the videos to cycle through that backlog a bit faster. And now that I think about it, I might even do 3 videos a week. Just give you guys EU4 on Monday, OOTP on Friday, and then fill the void with Slay the Spire. Maybe I'll do that just so we can start getting new games on the channel. In fact, I think I will do that. It was a brainstorm, I think, but it does disrupt my calculus slightly, but I don't mind that one bit. So, what happens after those two games are off the channel? Well, EU4 is going to continue. Enough of you were positive about EU4. It still gets, double-digit views, which is pretty good for this channel. Even though sometimes it takes about a week to get there, people are still enjoying it. I still enjoy playing it. I'm going to commit right now. I'm going to 1821. I'm going to go to the actual end date of the game. And those of you that said you wanted some more history, I'm going to try to incorporate that in future episodes. I'm still in the 1500s, and that's just not an era that I have a lot of competency in, that I feel comfortable talking about. My historical research would always lean more toward the end of this period, the 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries. With a bit of 17th in there too. I'm on firmer ground once we get to about 1600 or so. So I'll try to weave in more history as the game progresses, but for right now, it's just gameplay. So what about the other two videos each week? There's going to be Out of the Park Baseball 21 and Out of the Park Baseball 21. I'm going back to 2 videos a week for it, and I hope that is okay with you. The overwhelming majority of people who commented on the last channel update were like, please, more Out of the Park Baseball 21. It dwarfs any other game that shows up on the channel. I'm definitely going to be doing 2 videos a week once Slay the Spire and XCOM are finished. Which leads me to an important question. Some of you guys in the comments made recommendations that had never once come to my mind. And some of them seemed really cool. So would you prefer, just one question this time, would you prefer double the Baltimore, or do you want me to run 2 series at the same time? So double the Baltimore, or Baltimore continues and then I start another series at the same time. If I did a second series, I'm not entirely sure what I would play, to be honest with you. A fictional league sounds kind of tempting, especially if we did something with like promotion and relegation. I'd have to fiddle with that to get it to work right, but it could be an interesting playthrough. There's any other team in baseball history. One series I did a long time ago was... This was probably either OOTP 17 or 18. You know what? Maybe I never did it on the channel. I took the 1899 Cleveland Spiders, generally considered one of the worst baseball teams in history, and turned them into World Series champions in less than 10 years. That could be a fun little challenge. Or we could do something else that strikes your fancy. The only restriction I'm going to set, as I see your folks' wonderful ideas, I don't want to play any team I've already played before in one of these challenges, either for 20 or 21. I'm not going to do 2 different Baltimore series, if that's what you were hoping. But I just want a new team or a new era or something like that. But that is, I think, the plan. When we finish EU4, I'm going to do the mini-series on Help Will Come tomorrow. And then I will leave it up to the comment section for what game you'd like to see next. If you do decide Civilization 6 is what you want to see next, go ahead and make a recommendation for a Civilization that might be fun to play. I have not played this game as much as I might like, and I've only played with, I think, like 2 or 3 different civilizations, so I'm open to pretty much anything except for America, because that's what I did the first time on the channel. Um, yeah, that's it, friends. So, recap. XCOM will drop off the channel in a few weeks once you finish. Slay the Spire is going to be 3 videos a week until that backlog is cleared out. At that point, the channel will shift to 3 videos a week, 2 of which will be Out of the Park Baseball 21. So do drop comments down below. I'm also going to post on Twitter. So if you follow me on Twitter, Out of Indian Gaming, you can also share your thoughts there. I'll be curious to see what people think as far as OOTP 21 and as far as Civilization 6 goes. So, until next time, though, this has been Evendian. Thank you for watching the channel. It really means a lot to me. And until next time, I bid you good day.